Pragmatic in the way they vote in South Carolina?
I think they will vote for Romney, but don't. Now, this is going to sound crazy to you, but I talked to a friend from South Carolina who said, don't rule out Rick Perry.
Yes, that's what
I do rule him out.
I tend to also.
Michael Steele, the former RNC chair, said that's a possibility.
Well,
let's take a look at the latest polling down
Protestant
there.
in the race.
I know, that's what we think, because it's the way we've always thought tribally. But let's take a look at this. Recent poll of Republicans in South Carolina taken this week. Romney has a commanding lead down there already before the bounce from tonight, 37% of it. He's got the bounce up from that during the next week and a half, followed by Santorum and Gingrich. Again, neck and neck as they were here tonight. Paul and Perry trail further back. So here's the question. If you are Rick Santorum, who couldn't get his act together up here in New Hampshire, but basically tied Romney just a week ago. He tied him. Now the guy's inevitable. But a week ago, he's still tying him. What's he do down there? Does he have the money? Does he have the chops to win this down there?
Well, a lot of this is about whether some of his big backers, and he has some in Pittsburgh and other places, are going to put some chips on the table for him. We don't know the answer to that question.
How about the Protestant group, the people that are meeting in Texas? People like
those
Gary
people
Bauer
are important.
And James Dobbs.
So, and you can expect that in terms of the themes he will talk about, he will go back to some of these gay marriage themes, some of these social conservative themes. But remember, they do like establishment figures in South Carolina. They don't tend to vote for the outlier conservative. They go more often for the person whose turn it is. They don't care what happened in New Hampshire. Remember how after McCain won New Hampshire and he got clobbered in South Carolina. So they're going to look at this with some fresh eyes.
Do they like the role of certifier of the nominee?
Absolutely, because they now feel that
they like that role, don't they?
They love that. Look, if there were one strong conservative alternative, I'd be putting some chips on that candidate in South Carolina.
Mitt Romney from going down. It doesn't take a lot of. It's paint by numbers at this point. You go down there and you give them the raw meat. You attack Obama every second of every speech, and how can he lose doing that?
Well, you heard it tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to hear that again
and again. The socialist program, the European.
Until the South Carolina vote, you're going to hear that kind of language. And how can he go far wrong with that? I don't see how he can go far wrong.
I do think that this is the test of whether there is anti-Mormon bias within the Republican Party. We will find out for sure
how will
whether
you see
it exists
if it's only a couple of points?
Not. Well, if it's more than a couple of points, then you can say that there's an effect. If it's not, and I hope that it doesn't obviously become an issue, but to the extent that there are
religion hasn't become a debating point in this campaign yet, and that's important. There have been no issues that are tied to the issue of Mormon religion. In other words, it only comes up, if you think about it, because it hasn't come up in the debate at all.
Right. But remember, Ralph Reed told me once that there is a big chunk of the Republican Party that simply won't vote for a Mormon. This will test whether Ralph Reed was right in saying that. I think he was wrong. We'll find out.
Okay, we'll see. I think they want to beat President Obama enough to make an adjustment. Anyway, thank you, Jonathan Alder. Great guy, great historian as well as a great journalist. And Eugene Robinson, I don't have to brag. Son of the South, overcame that, became a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, one of the best ever. MSNBC's coverage of the New Hampshire primary will continue in just a moment.
You know that our campaign is about more than replacing a president. It's about saving the soul of America.
When their plane went down,
we need a fire. If we don't move, we'll all freeze to death.
Their real journey began.
What was that? Stare right back at him.
On January 27th.
There's trees out there. If we get there, we can better defend ourselves.
They will stop at nothing to get back home.
There's not a second goes by when I'm not thinking of you.
The Gray, rated R, starts January 27th.
My boyfriend and I were going on vacation, so I used my city thank you card to pick up some accessories. A new belt, some nylons, and what girl wouldn't need new shoes? We talked about getting a diamond, but with all the thank you points I've been earning, somebody left the gate open. I flew us to the rock I really had in mind.
The City Thank You Card. Earn points you can use for travel on any airline with no blackout dates.
Hey, Kev. How about a bike ride?
You're not my dad. Ah!
Hey, honey. Back feels better. A little dancing tonight, you and me? Dr. Scholl's Pro inserts relieve different types of lower body pain by treating at the source, so you're a whole new you. Go pro with Dr. Scholl's.
You know, when I grow up, I'm going to own my own restaurant. I want to be a volunteer firefighter.
When I grow up, I want to write a novel.
I want to go on a road trip.
When I grow up, I'm going to go there.
I want to fix up old houses.
At AARP, we believe you're never done growing.
I want to fall in love again.
Discover what's next in your life. Get this free travel bag when you join at aarp.org/join today.
New Vicks Nature Fusion Cold and Flu Syrup, flavored with real honey. Powerful cold medicine that leaves out artificial flavors and dyes. Instead uses something more natural. Honey. New Vicks Nature Fusion Cold and Flu.
Like many chefs today, I feel the best approach to food is to keep it whole for better nutrition. And that's what they do with Great Grain cereal. See the seam on the wheat grain? Same as on the flake. Because Great Grain steams and bakes the actual whole grain. Now check out the other guy's flake. Hello, no seam. Because it's more processed. Now, which do you suppose has better nutrition for you? Great Grains, the whole grain cereal.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
Getting high on prescription drugs may seem like an easy game to play, but it's a game nobody wins. A prescription drug isn't safe if it wasn't prescribed for you, and that can be a dangerous game to play. Last year, over 1,200 people in northern Michigan were treated for misuse of prescription drugs. If you or someone you know is misusing prescription drugs, get help before time runs out. Don't be part of the problem, be the solution. Learn how at drugfreenorthernmichigan.com.
Thank you, New Hampshire. Tonight we made history.
Welcome back to a special edition of Hardball. We're finishing it out the evening in our coverage here. NBC News is projecting, as we've said all night, that Romney is the winner in tonight's big New Hampshire primary. We're up in New Hampshire, Manchester right now. Ron Paul's projected to come in a second tonight, although he called it a win for him, followed by John Huntsman, who hoped to do better. He came in third and bragged about that. Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, neither of them bragged, but of course they didn't say much else either. They both came in fourth. Joining me right now are MSNBC's political analysts Michael Steele and Eugene Robinson. Getting a little punchy late tonight here because I guess I expected some more jumping jacks out of the Republicans. That's not their specialty. I said tonight they're under a tyranny of tedium. They do respect people who wait in line. Mitt Romney has waited, served his time, been defeated up here 4 years ago by John McCain. He's doing it the way you do it in the Republican Party. Show yourself, take a beating, wait your turn, be a loyalist, and you get the nomination eventually.
Yeah, you have to say at this point that he's almost the prohibitive favorite to win the nomination. It is his turn. This is the way it works out in the Republican Party time and time again. And you'll be safe predicting that until something different happens. And something different happens.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I have to go after you. Mr. Chairman, I have to ask you the question.
And that something different is called South Carolina.
Okay, when you play regular schoolyard basketball, you play winners. The guy that gets the ball in the basket gets the ball.
Right.
When the Republicans play it, the guy that misses gets the ball. They play losers. Why is that so different?
Play losers.
Yes, you
Stop
do.
with the negative commentary.
Okay,
this is a great night. This is a great night for our party. This is a great night, particularly for Mitt Romney. All due props to him and his campaign. They did what they had to do. He's got close to the number. He's almost at 40% here, and that's significant when a lot of people, myself included, thought the number would be somewhere around 32 to 34% against the field. Yeah. So it's a good night for him. The test still remains, and I'll keep saying this until he proves me wrong or otherwise, that South Carolina is going to be the beachhead. The conservatives are there waiting to see exactly what he's going to be made of. Will he come into South Carolina charged up with the speech he gave tonight that lays down a foundational principle argument for why we should follow him?
Okay.
He does that, then you can talk about prohibitive.
Okay, you talk ideology. You talk ideology.
That's what's driving
but
this,
doesn't
Chris.
he just have to come in and smash Obama like he did tonight, call him a European socialist?
No, it's a little bit more than that, because we know the hot rhetoric buttons. You can talk about European socialism all day long, and people great applause line. But when it gets to the core principle stuff, when it talks about big government republicanism, when you talk about spending, you talk about debt and deficit. What is your plan? Can we trust you not to give us what we saw in Massachusetts?
You believe he's a conservative?
I do. I do believe he's conservative.
It took a moment there, but you say yes.
No. I wanted to digest the question, but I did.
Okay,
but who's the alternative? My question is, who's the alternative? Who do they flock to, if not to Romney? I don't see him going.
Rick Perry is, by definition, he has what they call the cards. He's a governor. Conservative, good record as governor, and creates jobs supposedly.
A Southern accent.
And he's Protestant. He fits the Bible Belt.
But he has the wrong kind of Southern accent for South Carolina. He has a Texas accent. Texas is as alien from South Carolina as Pennsylvania.
Do you want to give us a demonstration of both?
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say.
I don't
let me
want
ask you about, is this race come down to Romney versus the unknown person who might be able to beat him, or can he be worn down gradually? For example, if he only gets 25 or 30% in South Carolina, Michael, and then he only gets, well, I can't believe there was only 25 or 30% in Florida the week thereafter, and then he just gets ground down. But he'll win Michigan. His family's from there.
Absolutely.
And Arizona, I don't know what will happen. But how do you beat him unless somebody beats him?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, and really that's where a lot of the consternation is right now between the base and the establishment is, who are you going to beat him with? You haven't coalesced around an individual yet. You haven't coalesced around someone who can go one-on-one. I think that South Carolina is that moment. It's either going to happen there or it won't happen at all.
Can somebody read those numbers right now? Who's got really good eyesight right now?
I do.
Okay, you and Michael, read them.
39, Paul 23, Huntsman 17, Gingrich 9, Santorum 9, Perry 1.
So they didn't get the 10s they needed, those two guys at the bottom, Gingrich and Santorum, so they won't get delegates, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, that's a zero. That's a zero in the delegates. I mean, the top three are going to take the 12.
So it's a shutout for those two guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to the headline tomorrow will be Romney wins second race. This usually means victory. In fact, it has never been done before by a non-incumbent.
It's a great night. He made history tonight. He's the first non-incumbent Republican to win both Iowa and New Hampshire back-to-back. He's got good mojo. But again, that stumble block in front of him is South Carolina.
I'll tell you, he's got a blocking back too. His name's Ron Paul. As long as Ron Paul can come in second, he kills any prestige for the challenger to Mr. Romney.
And that's the Perry Santorum Gingrich conundrum.
You can't look but so good coming in third. You just can't. You know, no matter who you are.
Says, I've been in a couple of those races. Third ain't that bad if you know how to swing it.
Yeah,
but that's the problem. They don't know how to swing. Third ain't first. That's right.
There he is right now. The vote's coming in right now. We got final words. So let's finish it up tonight, gentlemen. It's late here in New Hampshire. I've always loved coming up here. You love it too, don't you? It's a great place to come up to because it has a kind of what's the right word? Flintiness. It generally challenges the stream, questions what's going on. This time, I'm sad to say, because it's somewhat tedious, as I said before, they've just confirmed the flow, haven't they?
They have confirmed the flow here in New Hampshire, and it will be unconfirmed on our way to South Carolina.
Okay, you still think some surprises?
I still think there's surprises.
Turnout, one thing that should be worrisome, turnout I think was anemic this time. Not a lot, not as much enthusiasm as perhaps
well, they got the church, but they didn't pray. Anyway, thank you, Gene Robinson. Republicans don't fall in love, they fall in line. They seem to be doing it up here. Michael Steele, sir, I've gotten to really like your analysis because I think you tell the truth. Anyway, Gene, you win Pulitzer Prizes. That's even better. And this is it for the late night special edition of Hardball tonight. It's been a treat to end the evening this way. MSNBC's coverage of the New Hampshire primary will continue in just a moment.
This is not a prescription. This is Mary, who has a million things to pick up each month on top of her prescriptions. So she was thrilled that her Walgreens pharmacist recommended a 3-month supply and would always be there to answer questions about her health. Now, Mary gets 3 refills in 1, and for 3 months, she's done. More or less. Ask your pharmacist about a 90-day supply today. Walgreens, there's a way to stay well.